Well, postcard from Corsica.
Hi, we're Ian and Julie. Follow us on our tiny homestead and our debt-free project of a lifetime, the building of our shipping container home here in the Pyrenees, and all of this alongside our full-time jobs.
Meanwhile, a few trailer repairs for our works trailer. This top, fiberglass top, was basically coming away from the base. The base seems to be all rotten in parts. So a bit of Heath Robinson repair works, but I managed to release the top from the base and get it up in the air. So this is where it's all rotted out. All the screws are just coming out, and it was a right mess and very dangerous. So I'm lucky I didn't lose it on one of the auto routes. It's rotten all the way along. Now it is 10 years old or so, this trailer, but I wouldn't expect it to do that. Right, now to bring that trailer over underneath and get that one set on there for now. I don't know whether you guys at home get it, but when your wife expects the worst, expects it to come crashing down on your head, so you look like the Wicked Witch of the West underneath in the yellow brick road. But it all went fine. I managed to push the car trailer underneath and lower it all down. So now comes the job of taking off all these little bolts and releasing it from the chassis underneath. As you can see, yeah. And then making a pattern and going out to get some marine ply. Oh, that was hot work on my own. There's the chassis and there's the base. Oh my God, let me just show you how rotten this is. This is just ridiculous. Each corner, I can't even tell if it's plywood or not, but yeah, it needs to be changed out. This is fiberglass under the bottom, so I might have a go at fiberglassing. I've never done it before, but this is a couple of sheets of plywood supported with strengthening beams here and here. So I might just give it a go. I've got a bit of time. Oh, in between the garage build. Right, let's get this on a couple of trestles, and I'll measure it all up, use it as a pattern. Tomorrow I will go and find out the cost of marine plywood. Now that's going to be a shock. It might be cheaper to buy a new trailer. Hello. Because this plywood is really expensive, I'm being extra careful, measuring, make sure this track saw is really lined up. Because of the size of this trailer base is 3 meters by 153.5 millimeters. The biggest piece of wood I could get was 3 meters 10, which is great, by 153. So it's half a centimeter too short. So what I'm going to have to do is, I've just bought standard size ply of 2.5 by 1.2, and I'm cutting them down the center, so there'll be a join right in the center, and then put a lot of supports in. It's a pain that I can't get one piece that size, but it is so expensive. It was nearly 300 euros for one piece of 3 meter 10 by 153, and I'd have had to cut that anyway. So I'm going to quickly get all of this cut up and in place, and next time you see me, I'll be gluing it up and screwing it. So I'll leave that all clamped up overnight, come back in the morning, and we'll put our strengthening strips down before I move it, get all those glued on. That's what they are there. And we'll see how it goes. All the plywood is cut. So lots of little joints, but I've tried to stagger the joints. So there isn't two joints together. The only place that I've got two joints together is just these two thin ones here, and that's covering the joint here of the two big panels. But that will sit on the chassis, so it's really just a pad just to keep it up. But now I've got to glue it all and screw it and get everything ready for the fiberglass. Probably doesn't look much different to last time, but it is being screwed and glued all the way. And I've positioned it exactly on top of the old trailer base. There's the old one. Look at the state of that. And that's the new one. So what I'm going to do is trace around these corners here and round them off and get it all done. Right, now the bit that I've been dreading is the fiberglassing. Never really done it. Tiny little bit on cars, but never on this scale. So I'm going to lay down the sheet, mix up the epoxy resin. This is a 1-to-1 epoxy resin, and basically scrape it all on. I'm not going to put it on the board first. I'm just going to scrape it over this sheet and really push it into the corners. I've got another sheet for that, and then we've got another one to put a second layer on if necessary. Got a couple of coats of epoxy resin all the way over this. Looks really good. It's a shame now I'm going to paint black stone chip all over the bottom. This is going to be the bottom, so we won't see it anyway. But yeah, the epoxy resin's come out pretty good. I was a bit worried because it wasn't drying, but it took just overnight and half a day, and yeah, it's like glass now. No going back now. Such a shame. It's such a nice wood effect, but it's better to be protected. So this is a bitumen based under seal. So I'm hoping it dries. All done. Ready to get it turned over tomorrow and paint the inside. So I put 2 coats of the black sol on the stone chip. I managed to get a couple of spray cans and I sprayed it nice and even. And now we have flipped it over. So now this is the inside surface. I thought we may as well put it to the trailer first, get it all bolted on, and then put the epoxy on this surface. So that will cover all the bolts, all the any nude edges of the wood that we create. So now we've just thrown it on because it's really, really heavy. This is 3 whole pieces of 15mm plywood, marine ply. So yeah, it's quite heavy. So now I've got to position it exactly on the chassis. Right, this is the most scary part. I've lined it all up near enough as exact as I can. I've already drilled 4 holes here, put the bolts in, but they're just loose because I'm going to get new bolts. And then I've drilled these series of holes down the side here for the chassis. I've now got to do those holes there. But yeah, it's pretty tight underneath. Trying to get under there to drill. But it's going okay. Yeah, it's just a bit hairy getting it all lined up. But I think it's actually straighter than the original one because I took all measurements and their measurements were quite far, about 10mm off from side to side. So, right, I'll get these holes here drilled. And then we're going to actually fiberglass the top. Right, it is time to raise the top off its temporary trailer base, the car trailer, and put it onto new base, which is all ready to go. So I'll put on these blockers here on each corner, so when I sit the fiberglass top on, hopefully it'll sit square on these corners. So I'm going to give it a trial run first, make sure it all fits, and then take it off and seal all of the edges with a sealant, basically, before I put it on. And while the sealant is still damp or moist, I'll put it back on so it gives a bit of a gluing effect as well. The morning routine. Go through traffic, beside vehicles, things like that. So just ride it how you feel safe. So, all right. On your back.
Have fun, fellas! All my guys are heading towards me. You see them coming down the road. You okay? Way to go! Go, Andreas! Come on! Woohoo! 6k for coffee turn! I'd like to thank EcoFlow for sponsoring today's video and providing us with the EcoFlow Delta 2 unit, and we've brought it along with us this week in Corsica, and we have tested it so much this week. I've been making coffee for all the guys with my Nespresso machine, and for those of you that aren't overly familiar with cycling, every cyclist has more electronic gadgets than you can think of. We all come with our Garmins, and they are super battery hungry. So normally at cafes I'm having to charge up, and this unit I plug everything in, all their mobile phones, their watches, because they have data on their watches for stats, their Garmins. We've been using our drone all week, so that's been charging while I've been driving along. We've got our iPad, everything, heart rate monitors, you name it. We've used this to the max, and we haven't gone below 80%, and it's just incredible. So any of you out there that are on the road, camping, whatever, this battery has served us so well this week, and this is a real help to us. It's brilliant. I can't say enough good things about this. So thank you very much, EcoFlow. Guys, go and check them out. They're great units.
What's good today at Julie's?
Well, in Julie's Cafe, I have coffee, an espresso coffee, or a cup of tea. Straight over, fellas! You okay?
Well, postcard from Corsica. So, last year I was leading the pack up this climb. This year, after 6 months of building work, I am definitely the back marker. Oh, this is killing. Absolutely killing me. This is a 16k climb, but yeah, I'm miles behind. But oh, it's so nice to be here in the sun. It's quiet roads, looking down there at the Mediterranean. Right, better get my go on. I've got to meet them for lunch.
Yeah, so dismount because you're going to push your bikes round to the left. Hi there, well this is us at work. I park myself up either halfway up a mountain, on the top of a mountain, or wherever the guys are going to need me. And we've got all the sugary naughty treats that they love, the Haribo sweets, all mixtures. I've got mixed nuts, raisins, cranberries. The guys love a Nutella crepe in their back pocket, fruit, energy products, Coca-Cola, thermos of hot water for teas. And with the aid of this EcoFlow, it's made my life easier, and better quality coffee for the fellas because they're all getting Nespresso coffee shots. So that's getting them up these climbs just that little bit easier now.
And now we have 240 volts in the back of the van. I'm able to charge up this drone directly from the EcoFlow, and then from the USB I can do the remote control at the same time. So now I don't have to worry how long this machine is up in the air, because before I used to go quickly up, miss all the cyclists, not have time to do it again. But now we have a lot of time to do it. So they're charging away. The EcoFlow's charging away from the 12 volt from the engine. And so far we haven't got below 90% on this machine. That's using the coffee machine, the drone, everything. So pretty good.
Another roadblock. And then we get to these fellas that just can't be bothered. Coffee and Coke!
Race to the side, come on.
Oh. Would you steal it?
All good. End of ride viewers by the pool. Finished the tour, everybody got back to the Start Hotel. Great week, and now we're just chilling at a beach bar, celebrating with not too many beers just yet. Here they are, happy guys, we did it. Tour de Corse 2023.
Hi there, just a quick explanation why we're over here in Corsica. So we run cycle holidays, and we've been doing that for about 19 years now. Before that, we were in normal jobs. We were actually lived in Holland then, and I was a satellite engineer for a space company, and basically we've always cycled and we've always done triathlon, and we thought, let's go for it, let's change our lives. So we gave up perfectly good jobs, basically sold up everything and moved to the French Pyrenees.
So we came to France and we bought quite a very tired old farmhouse with lots of outbuildings and barns, and between the two of us we spent a year completely renovating before we opened for our first guests arriving.
And that was back in 2005. And basically I've been the guide and Julie's been the secondary guide, but also caterer, because for up to groups of nearly 25 we'll provide all the meals, breakfasts, evening meals, everything basically what they want. Plus we take the support vehicles out on these larger tours, and then smaller days we'll go out riding with them, find the cafes, the restaurants, and come back, and then Julie starts cooking again.
It is only for the summer season. We have most of the winter off.
Although during the winter we're always planning now for the next season, all the logistics, the hotels, everything else, trying to get the bookings in. So it's quite stressful as well. But this past 6 months, as you know, we have been concentrating solely on our off-grid garage build. All our efforts have gone into that, and
We neglected our winter training.
Yeah, so it's been a bit tough now, and but I think we've probably got about 5 years in us for cycling and running these tours. But that's why our off-grid property build and homestead is a longer term plan. But it's allowed us to get the homestead up and running, and for Julie.
Yeah, the polytunnel, I've learnt so much over this past 2 years growing fresh produce, and the benefit of that is all our clients, because I do all the cooking, I've always done fresh, and everything now is my own fresh vegetables, and it's going down really well, and I truly enjoy doing the gardening side of things.
And it's allowing us to plan ahead again for when we really want to be self-sufficient once we've retired and not really getting any income in, so it'll be good fun. Yeah. So we're off back on the ferry now.
Yep.
We'll get a couple of pictures of that in a minute that you'll see, but back home, tidy everything up, turn around, and then we're off on another tour across the Pyrenees. So it's busy.
We're busy. It's that time of year. So we have a week back at base in the Pyrenees, back up the off-grid plot.
But I do have to get the gutters on.
Oh,
so
the gutters.
in between all of this, we're still building as well. So right, we're off to the ferry now. So
Long
we'll see you on
journey
board.
back to the Pyrenees.